Good morning and welcome to our Power Breakfast interview this morning. For many residents or people who work in Nairobi, Ongata Rongai, Kiserian, Kitengela, and Ngong are the retreat places to go if you want peace from the hustle and bustle of Nairobi. This is Kajiado, unknown to many people who believe it's part of Nairobi. But this Kajiado is also having quite a few challenges, insecurity, and recently cases of drug abuse that have ruined the good image of one of the richest counties by any standard in this country. So this morning we're joined by the Governor, Honorable David Nkedianye, to discuss just what is going on in Kajiado, and is this still the destination for many people seeking a piece of land and peace from the city. Karibu, Governor.
Asante.
So plots bado ziko ama zimeisha bwana?
Inategemea unataka ya kufanyia nini?
Yes.
Yeah.
People love Kitengela, love Kiserian because that's where to go to get a piece of, peace in this country. But we've been having lots of challenges. So let's get down to the first. Let me ask you, how has the last 1 year been, in office, given all the diverse challenges that have been associated with Kajiado?
It has been tough, but also it has been rewarding. So I can say it has been a mix of those, but overall I would say it has been good. A lot has been done in the last 1 year in Kajiado, and so I actually think that devolution has brought about the best thing I could ever imagine for our county and even for this country. We've been able to do a lot. We didn't do exactly what we wanted to do 100%, but to a greater extent we have done a lot in all the 10 ministries. If I was to go ministry by ministry, right, we have done a lot, from roads to water, the provision of water, to bringing sanity in these towns. We have done a lot.
We are, of course, going to hear from the residents of these places.
Yes.
I have a few questions about bringing sanity, that use of that word. And when you go to Kitengela,
yes,
you go to Ngong, you don't find quite enough of that sanity you're talking about.
It could have been worse if we had not intercepted and done something. So, but I will tell you why I think that.
Now, generally, people say you have not even launched a master plan for Kajiado. And given the many peri-urban areas that we just mentioned, Ngong, Kiserian, Kitengela, all the way to Isinya, what is the grand plan to put Kajiado in a more organized structure as a county?
Thank you. A master plan is not created overnight. And we do not have a blank space upon which to do a master plan. It takes time because you have people on the landscape. You have people doing their business, and you do not want to disrupt their life. We are working on it. It might not be coming tomorrow morning, but I know in the near future it will be there. That is something we're working on.
People are asking for timelines, deliverables, and that's a key. People would think that is the foundation for your government. I mean, as you set off, you have a plan to go to approach these things.
Yes. In this financial year, we will produce a master plan, especially for the urban areas. We will do that. Kajiado is very vast, so I also don't want to talk like Kajiado is just the size of Nairobi. Kajiado is the size of central Kenya, or Israel, or Rwanda, actually, just about that. So we are talking about a lot of work, and so we do not want to be over-ambitious. But what I know is that especially for the urban areas, Kitengela, Ngong, Rongai, Kiserian, Loitoktok, Namanga, all these areas, we are working very hard to come up with a plan within this financial year.
Let's talk politics. In terms, when you look at other governors, they're having serious issues with the MCAs. Your ODM.
Yes.
And the overwhelming majority of the MCAs there are Jubilee.
Yes.
What's the relationship between you and them?
It has improved over time. It started very badly.
Yes.
But we have learned to live together because we need each other. And we have checks and balances from Wananchi. We started badly because when we came in, everybody was thinking in terms of their party. And of course, I knew that I didn't have that muscle, that party muscle at that time. because I had only 2 MCAs who were elected on my own party, and 23 out of the elected ones were Jubilee. And so I could not go into a contest with them. And then after the nominations, I got an extra one. So we have, in an assembly of 41, I have 3. So I do not go that way in terms of competing for strength. But I talk to them. I have shown them that I'm not interested in anything else than development, and that we want to do good for Mwananchi. And that is why temperatures have gone down. They have watched me over time, and they've realized that I'm not interested in a power struggle within the Jubilee or CORD things, but I am interested in doing development for people. Of course, it has not been very rosy. Sometimes we have disagreed. Like right now, we are fighting over the budget.
Exactly.
So we don't have money actually, because we prepared a budget that was rejected by the Office of the Controller of Budgets, and we are reworking that budget. We are still having problems with that.
What's the issue?
The issue is
the budget.
The issue is, for example, the Controller of Budgets has given a ceiling of 310 million shillings for the Assembly as a cap.
Yes.
They had set aside for themselves 916 million shillings.
Yes. We had the same,
almost a billion.
We had the same issue with Makweni when the governor came here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I said, no, you cannot go that way, because that money, 916 million shillings, there's no water, there's no development they are doing with that. It is sitting allowances, it is travel, and it is all those things. And I'm saying, sorry, we really can't do that. We need that money for development. In the last financial year, our county assembly was the 3rd in terms of spending on travel. They spend almost 200 million shillings on travel. And that is not acceptable. That's so many boreholes, so many whatever. So,
in fact, I understand some of those MCAs, they were getting their first post and flight for the first time. One of them said when they went to Malaysia, this is Malaysia, the only thing he saw were many planes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but that's a good thing. You know, if it is well planned, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But if it is overdone, it's a problem. When you spend 200 million shillings, when you have so many people out there who are languishing in poverty, it is not justifiable. And so those are the kind of things we are fighting over. And yeah, I'm prepared to stretch that, because I don't think it's the right thing to be done.
What about your relationship with the senator?
We have been working very well with Senator Mositet.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally we have differed, but we have talked as gentlemen.
Over what?
Once he said that development was going slowly in our county. That's the only time he went to the press to say something like that. But other times we have sat and agreed on a number of things, and we are moving on.
Let's say, I mean, Kajiado has many challenges. What is your plan in terms of the next 1 year or the term of your office? What are your priorities, and what should people in Kajiado be expecting that is coming their way?
Thank you. The people of Kajiado should know that actually we have put in place a great plan from developing facilities for the youth. We have set aside in this financial year money to develop the Ngong Stadium. And I know that's going to be huge for the youth. We have set aside money to develop Kajiado Stadium, and that is going to be something that is going to roll out very soon. So for the youth, we have those 2 stadia, but we also have a Youth and Women Development Fund. Now, we have already a bill in the Assembly to operationalize that. We have set aside money for that, and very soon we will be rolling out to create employment and to train our youth, to capacity build. So that's one thing. Number 2 is that we are building model libraries in Ngong and in Kajiado, which is the headquarters. And so we want to promote a reading culture. That's the other thing we are doing. We have set aside a lot of money for roads. We want, of course, you know that we have a tussle with the KERA, the national government, because of the classification of roads.
Of the roads, which ones you should do a national?
Yes. And as soon as that is cleared, and I hope that's going to be soon, we will be taking up the key arteries. We've talked with the national government to see how we can connect Loitoktok all the way from Taveta to connect to Loitoktok, and then from Isara, Mashuru, and then from Isinya to Kiserian.
Yes.
And now there's going to be a bypass from Gong through Suswa. So if that happens...
Those are going to be tarmacked roads?
Those
or
are
just
going to be
graded?
tarmacked roads. And of course, we will be working closely with the national government to see how we can fast track that.
Yeah.
We have bus parks.
Yeah.
We have started the Kitengela bus park. It's going to cost us almost 70 million shillings. It is ongoing as we speak right now, and that is going to decongest Kitengela completely. We have a lot of water, a lot of money on water. Every ward right now has a water project.
Yeah.
Every ward out of the 25 wards.
Water project, you're digging boreholes, drilling
We are
boreholes?
sinking boreholes, and we are also doing water pans. We are extending pipelines, you know. We are also doing the furrows and conservation of water in Loitoktok area and in Guruman areas and Pakase where you have irrigation. So we are conserving water, and we're making more people to access that water that is available. Yeah. In education, we have done almost 60 classrooms on ECD so far in the last financial year, and we are going to do more. Of course, we are having a challenge because of primary and secondary school not being devolved to counties. We know we have a huge need in that area, but that's something we're working on. In fact, we have gotten some kind of understanding with the national government to do some bit of infrastructure for primary and secondary schools because we have a huge need. So these are some of the things we are doing. Within this term, the people of Kajiado should know that I have big plans. One, to do a sewerage system.
Yes, that's actually one of the issues being raised. Yeah.
We, for Rongai and Gong, we are talking with the national government. You know, within these first 3 years, we cannot take a loan. If we were in a position to take a loan, I would have done that. But we are talking with the Treasury, and plans are at an advanced stage to do the sewerage for Kiserian, Gong, and Rongai. Yeah, there's about 600 million shillings that have been set aside from the National Treasury. And there's another almost 700 for Loitoktok region. And we are talking to investors to see how we can partner to do Kitengela, sewerage system. Those are some of the big things we really want to do. Because I know if we did that, a lot of things would normalize.
Yeah. I've heard people saying that since you came in, revenue collection has gone down.
In the last financial year, we missed our mark by, we had targeted 517 million shillings and we collected slightly less than 500 million shillings. That is not by a big margin, and you can understand why. We have come into a system that is really full of pilferage. Now we are working on that. We have completely refused to work with cash. Now, if you go to the sand harvesters, you will realize that starting 1st of August, that is tomorrow, they will be working with stickers. They will pay. They will not pay cash. They will pay with stickers. We are working to computerize. We have trained our people, and they are going to work with computers. Every sub-county is going to collect revenue, and we are computerizing that. We are working on a wide area network within all the sub-counties to make sure that we are computerized, and that is already ongoing. So it is true that revenue did go down slightly, but we are looking at doing 3 times what we have been collecting in the past.
If you look at Ngong, Kiserian, Watarongai, the towns have become slummy. It is slums, the congestion. People have been around to take road reserves. You know, those even Kitengela. You see people come with containers or with the kiosks. In fact, in Gong or anywhere, where pedestrians are supposed to walk, is
construction.
Yes,
not construction. People are selling
makeshift.
Makeshift.
I know. Yeah.
Makeshift things.
Yeah.
Why this
that is the order
when I went to Gong,
Yes.
that was completely not
Yes.
fair.
Let me tell you what we are doing about that. In the last 3 or so months, we have held a number of meetings in all the urban areas. We have sensitized the residents that any person on a road reserve must move. Now that exercise is ongoing as we speak in Kitengela. And there are even people who have gone ahead to demolish their own structures that are on the road reserve because we mean business. and we want everybody. If you go to Tengela right now, of course, there's some acrimony and all that, because some people are not happy about that, but there are dozers on the ground. We have been to Ngong, and we have told them, we've put it on the papers. We didn't want to just move in like the old city council, demolishing people. I mean, they are human beings. But it's very clear that everybody on a road reserve must move, and it's not negotiable. Even some tall buildings are going to go down, and they are going down in Kitengela right now.
Really?
Yes.
What about refuse collection?
Yeah, refuse collection, there are two things which seem to be troubling those all the towns there. Refuse collection, waste collection management is really terrible.
Yes.
Drainage, when it rains, the place is floods all over.
Yes.
Those are very urgent matters.
They are.
What are your plans on this?
I can tell you that actually since we came in, waste management and garbage collection has improved. It might not be perfect, it has improved.
Not in Ngong. I live there.
I know. Even in Ngong, it has improved. Before we came in,
you go to the cathedral,
that cathedral thing, that waste was all the way up to the cathedral.
What does that
and
mean?
Right now, it is contained. We have even fenced off that place, and there is a place to sort out all that garbage. So that litter is not going everywhere. It was all over, even beyond the cathedral, and we have contained that. Now, that is not the ultimate solution. Yeah. We are coming up with a waste management industry that is going to take care of all that waste and recycle it. We have 3 serious investors who have come on board. We have tendered for that. And right now what we are trying to do is to allocate land, to get land to do that, to set up. We have people from Pakistan who have shown very good technology, people from Italy, very good technology, and people from France who have shown very good technology. Yeah. And so we are in the process of doing that. It doesn't take a night to just sort out everything. But we really appreciate the problem we have on the ground, and we are working on it. We have increased the number of lorries. Actually, we have 2 more coming now from CMC.
But that being really a major problem and a visible one.
Yes.
There are master strokes that other governors have done. In Mombasa, we saw Joho buying police vehicles to enable them to combat crime.
Yes.
We saw the same in Machakos, Alfred doing a master stroke that confronts a big issue, whether it's PR or real.
Yes.
It seems to address a particular urgent concern.
Yes.
For you, drainage and cabbage looks like is a big issue. Wouldn't you do 20 trucks to clean the county to make it habitable?
Time will tell. Time will tell whether buying 100 and Nissan to combat security is the solution.
Yes.
Time will tell. Let me tell you, what really matters is how you can do something consistently,
Yes.
how well you understand the root cause of a problem.
Exactly.
And not jumping into an issue.
Yeah.
Because also there are procurement issues.
Yes, I know. But you see, people would say there are things we have lived with for years.
Yes.
We would, under devolution, under the new government, it's closer home, like garbage, like drainage. You would say prioritize 3 things you must do in the first financial year.
Yes.
So that they stand out, that is what the government has done, and you appease people and you bring them on board.
Yes.
What are those things that you will say you have done for yourself or you plan to do?
Of course, for an extreme critic, they would say that nothing has improved.
Yeah.
What I know is that the situation has improved. With the sewerage, you cannot do it overnight. You need a lot of planning, you need a lot of that. It is good enough to know that we are partnering with investors to do it.
Yeah.
And it might not even be done fully within this financial year. It will be done in phases. Garbage collection, I know we have improved that. And more lorries are coming. We have bins coming, and they will be placed at the marketplaces.
Yes.
Of course, we are having problems with space. And let me tell you, in a place like Rongai, where we have done very good toilets. You have
I've been there.
You should pass there, Mutegi.
Rongai on Sundays.
Yeah, and Kiserian, Rongai, and Kitengela, all these major towns, we have very nice modern toilets. Sanitation
the
issues.
The complaint is that built on road reserves.
Yeah, one in Ngong, but we moved it. It was never built.
Okay.
We almost built it, but when we identified and we realized that it was on a road reserved, then we did not build it there. But those are some of the things we are doing.
Yeah.
And the fact that we have identified an area where waste is going to be managed, that is huge. Yes. For the last 50 years, some of these things have not happened. They've only become worse.
Yeah.
And in 1 year, what is it you really can say? These things take processes. Yeah, if you want to do things right, you do not just throw things and say, I'm doing these things.
Let's go out of urban areas, go to rural.
Yes.
Where you have Masai pastoralists.
Yes.
when there is no pasture,
Yes.
they move out.
Yes.
Some are here, they go to Thika, Nakuru,
Yes.
wherever there is pasture. Then these are men and maybe boys. What happens to the children who are left and they have to go to school, they have to be fed? What do you do about that?
What I do about that is not something that Governor Ngediaje is doing now. It is something that has been done over the years.
Which is?
They have learned to survive, and they are surviving well, and we are supporting them to survive. What we have done is that we have made sure that there is water closer to the people. That is one thing we are doing. People have to move periodically because you cannot dictate where it's going to be to rain and when. I mean, only God knows that. But what we have done is that we have shown by example that it is important to store hay from good times. We have built a huge hay stock, and we opened it recently, and we called all this in Kajiado.
Kajiado town?
Yes. We have a demo farm. And we invited all these people, and we sold cattle. We have a farm there, and we sold cattle. But we told them there are three things connected. You must have land, you must have pastures, so that you can have cattle. And that connection is very important. And that sends a ripple effect across everything else we do in the pastoral areas. That you must have land, you must have hay, to be able to have cattle. Because these cattle will support their livelihoods. We are not telling people that they cannot move, but we are assisting them by getting water closer to them. We are supporting boarding schools so that the children who are left behind can be in those boarding schools, and they don't have to move with their parents around to look for pastures.
Yeah. Okay, let's you have set sort of the stage for, you're trying to fix the problems to make Kajiado attractive, fixing the sewage, water. What are they still a problem? People are asking, what is the big issue? You said you're drilling boreholes in all of the areas. Now, what about reaching out to people to come and invest in Kajiado? You're dealing with problems confronting the people who live there. How about investment in Kajiado as the way forward to make it a wealthier county?
Investors will naturally be attracted to an orderly environment, almost naturally. If there is security, if there is orderliness, if you have water and infrastructure, investors will come. No other county can possibly actually compete with Kajiado in terms of location, for example. We're the only county that is touching an international border, Tanzania, and the capital city, Nairobi.
That's true.
Yeah?
Namanga and...
Namanga and Kitengela. You know, we are sandwiched between those two. Now, when we improve infrastructure, when we fight insecurity, when we make sure that there is peace and people are living, peacefully in harmony and there is no quarrels and all that, investors will come. Why? Because the cost of doing business in Kajiado is a lot lower than what you would do in Northeastern. Yeah. We are on the Namanga highway and also on Mombasa Road.
Yeah.
So instead of worrying so much about what to do to attract people, you fix the problem. Yeah, that scares away people. Because if you fix the problem, these people will come. Although, of course, we have done something. We did an investors forum.
And in fact, that's what I wanted. I wanted you to just look at somebody looking into Kajiado. I mean, what do you go to do in Kajiado? I mean, what are the investment opportunities there? What do you think people in Kajiado need to exploit for their economic empowerment and development of the people, to create jobs, and improve their standards of living? What are the what is the potential that there is? The
potential is huge. From tourism, the western part of Kajiado is untapped. It is, Shompole, Olkiramatian areas, just that's beyond Magadi, all the way through to Rosei, and it connects to Amboseli. Amboseli is in Kajiado, for your information. I know maybe Mutegi thinks Amboseli is in Tanzania.
It's true, by the way. A lot of people may not know what is in Kajiado. Kajiado and Nairobi, and people don't really get the difference. When you think you think you're in Nairobi. But you're in
we have a lot of conservancies around Amboseli National Park, and we have that wildlife, and the tourism potential in Kajiado is huge. It is not very far. It's 1 hour and a half from Nairobi to Amboseli, and you are in bliss.
All we know is Olepolos. Where we
just Olepolos here. Just, you haven't seen it. You haven't been to Shompole. It's just blissful. And
sometimes
and Amboseli.
Sometimes when the Minister for Tourism, Balala, was interviewed in these studios. Sometimes back, he was
Yes.
Minister for Tourism.
Yes.
He had suggested if he had the power, he would close Amboseli for 2 years because of encroachment.
Yes.
What is the situation improved? Because there is a rank between the Kajiado County Council and the government about the ownership.
Not really the ownership. I don't think there's a question about the ownership. The issue is about the sharing of revenue that accrues to that park.
Yeah.
Any person who understands ecosystems and understands human livelihoods will tell you that the connectivity is so important that wildlife will move outside the park, which is a small area in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the elephants, the zebra, the wildebeest are outside on people's land. Now, those people need a fair part of that cake.
Yeah.
Now, that is what has not been figured out by national government. And all those people who are in charge, whether Kenya Wildlife Service, any other person who is in charge of wildlife in this country, should know that there is no sustainability if you do not have a fair amount of that revenue plowing back to the communities that support that wildlife. Of course, things have improved because we have slapped a ban on land subdivisions and all that. I know there are still some small panya routes, but overall, we have maintained the moratorium around Amboseli National Park, and that is why we want to do a master plan, the land use master plan, to make sure we do not fragment the land around Amboseli, because that's going to kill the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, there is the big question of Kajiado, people buying land in all those areas. Kitengela became very popular, Kiseri, and all these places are people moving in, settling there. It become cosmopolitan. But there are issues emerging about, is it safe to go and invest in these places, given there have been challenges by people disowning land agreements, sale agreements, and the county government seems to have come in at one point to say, stop land transactions until we sort out fraudsters or exploitation of the local people there. Is this sorted out? Are people safe buying land anymore, settling in Kitengela, Kiserian, and so forth?
You are very safe buying land in an urban area.
Urban
The
area.
plots
Yes.
are very clear. You will know what you are buying. You will see, if you go over the weekend, you will see the plot you're buying. If somebody advertises on the internet and says, come and buy some piece of land somewhere, usually they say it's near Kitengela, but when you get there, it's 70 kilometers to the south of Kitengela. You are not safe. You're not safe. You need to be very clear, and you need to do due diligence, because this is something we found really going on, a lot of fraudsters and cartels, and people taking advantage of the ignorance and gullible Kenyans, and to just sell things that are sometimes not very clear. So we are working on that. We have a policy right now that is being finalized to take care of that. But we thought that it is much better to warn people than to allow people to continue buying things, and then later on they're saying, my plot, there's somebody else living there. I'm conned, and this plot is non-existent and all that. We are also warning people against buying a plot in areas that are not designated as urban areas, because that is land fragmentation, it is not sustainable, and we do not want to see a plot out there, somebody building a bar, and you say, unauza nini, and it's next to a school, it's next to a bush, and wazee wanapita hapo na ng'ombe.
What do you mean people should not buy land in non-urban areas? What about the non-urban areas, if somebody buys there?
What about
in the rural areas?
Yeah, rural areas. People are coming to buy chunks of
somebody wants to buy 20 acres there.
20 acres, 100
live
acres.
there or farm or whatever it is.
Yeah, finally they will do that, and we have no problem with that. Only that when you buy land 100 kilometers outside an urban area,
yes,
you do not subdivide it into plots, and you think that you are having many plots to sell. Speculation is the issue that has been bringing in a big mix-up, because some of these people are just buying land for profit, and then they chop it up into very small and viable parcels and sell to unsuspecting Kenyans. That is what we have been trying to fight, and telling people, be sure where you are buying your land.
Right.
Yeah.
How about rejection of residents who are not said to be natives of that area? We had the recent case of Maasai elders. If I remember your position well, was it supportive of the opposition to Maina Njenga burying his wife on his plot? People saying we don't want him here.
The Maasai elders had their own reasons. And if you say rejection of non-natives, I think that's a bit extreme. Kajiado has been very, very peaceful.
Yes.
We have been very accommodative, more than any other county, I can say.
That is true.
That is an isolated case. And the reason it is isolated is because, you know, it has not always happened that way. But if you look at the chronology of events, what led to that pronouncement by the Wazes is because you have people killing each other, chopping off each other's heads. And then the numbers continue to increase. And then within a short time, they say we are having a burial of all these people who are, it's like people feel threatened. The local people feel threatened. They feel like they have become a dump site of people who are just killed at random. And that is what caused the concern. And I can tell you, in any community, there are certain things that make people feel safe, and there are certain limits that will make people react. That is the threshold.
Yes.
That was getting
in this particular
so
case, what is your position, and what do you think should be the way forward?
One, I am totally
speaking in the context of the law as well.
Yes. One, I am totally opposed to people killing each other like that. That kind of mayhem, not acceptable. And we will want to fight that in Kajiado. It is not good for the natives. It's not good for investors. It's not good for you if you want to buy a plot there. That's number one. It's also not good in terms of law. Why should people kill each other? Why are we hearing these people being chopped, having their heads chopped off in churches or somewhere? So that one I'm totally opposed to. And as far as that is concerned, I side with the local people, the Wazes, that actually let us have sanity. Let us not bring this atmosphere of killing each other and then doing mass burial.
Sanity has been restored.
Sanity
has been restored.
Yes.
Maina Njenga simply wants to bury his wife.
Not just his wife. He was going to bring all those people.
How is that?
Yeah.
But do they belong there?
But not only that. I mean, if Maina Njenga has how many acres? About 300 or whatever.
Yes. I don't know. I have never seen the title, anyway. and nobody has really said they showed the title to say how many acres.
But he resides there. He has a home there.
It is so.
Let's assume.
Yes.
Shouldn't he have a right to do that, bury his next of kin there? All these issues notwithstanding.
The law is there to interpret that, and he has legal redress if he wanted to. Yeah. All we are saying is what is good for to keep the peace and the harmony that we have enjoyed over time is what you saw happening. But if he feels offended by that, he has legal redress.
Yeah.
Maybe you should buy him out. The county government or the Wazes. Buy him out.
I do not know. I don't even know how much land there is, so I cannot make a pronouncement about that.
Yeah.
I cannot. Tomorrow, if Makali misbehaves with some piece of land there,
yes.
I don't want to start buying out everybody. Yeah. But what we are saying is those people who move in should also respect, the traditions and the cultures of the people there. And they should not abrogate to themselves, a lot of powers to just disorganize
I
the
think the
status
matter
quo.
is that somebody should be persuaded, not forced, compelled, contrary to our constitution.
Nobody,
that's how I would put it.
Nobody beat Maina Njenga or anybody there. So the issue of being compelled or all that. All they did was to express their wishes and their intention and their displeasure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I guess they expressed their displeasure in a very unconventional way and unconstitutional way.
Unconventional to who?
Unconstitutional.
No, that is subject to your own interpretation.
The next day I come and buy a plot
that is subject to your own interpretation.
In Namanga.
The good thing I can tell you is that although those people expressed their displeasure the way they did, there was no bloodshed, they did not fight. Yeah. In other parts of this country, we are seeing people killing each other. Yeah. But those people are very modest, and they just said, we don't want this, and I think it should be respected.
Okay. Is there public land in Kajiado County which has been grabbed by whoever? And
yes.
Have you recovered any?
We recently had, and I think you must have seen on TV, some people jumping over my fence, coming to my office. And that was a group from Mile 46.
Where is that?
That is not very far, about 50 kilometers to the west of Kajiado town. And these are people who are claiming that public land was in their hands, former group ranch members, some of those members. And of course, we've been having that tussle. And what we have said is that we are not in the process of giving out any public land. And so our position as government is that any public land must be protected and must be used that way for public use. And we do not want people, whether they were former group ranch officials, masquerading as the new owners of these public lands and chopping them up into small parcels and selling them off. Yeah. In fact, we have a case of an area that has been sold and has a school inside. And unsuspecting, people just came and bought almost 400 acres, only to realize later that there is a school inside this parcel.
Who sold them? Group ranch?
Some former group ranch members fraudulently did that. So what we are saying is, for now, and actually, by the way, we have a county land management board now, and we were the first county to swear in that board. And so they are the ones who are going to oversee that, and we do not want individuals to take over that.
There is that factory in Gong, the meat processing. I think it used to be a long time ago when I was
Halal.
Halal. What's the situation about it, and in terms of your government?
There has been a tussle over that parcel of land. They did take a loan on that plot, using that plot as a mortgage, as a collateral. Yeah. And our position is that the deals that surround halal are not clear, and we will follow the law to make sure that due process is followed.
Okay. Just before we wind up, I mean, time is obviously running out. We agreed on an hour. It is over before but
we can do an hour and a half. You just need to be a bit generous.
Of course, people have sent in their questions on 22422. If you still have 1 minute or so to send in a pressing query, but there have been quite a number. Let me just run some of them by you. Kitengela, this is a recurrent complaint here. Chaos. The town is chaotic. Cars, handcarts, bicycles, borders, matatus.
That's replete all the town.
In all the, but Kitengela is impossible. I go there often. You can't on this main road there. You know, you can't pass.
Even Kisirian,
even Ngatarongai has the same challenges. What are you going to do about this to make the roads passable?
Now, I just talked about the bus park we're developing. The biggest problem in Kitengela is that where you have a bus park, and I'm saying in quotes because it's really not much of a bus park.
On the road, yes.
It's right on just next to the road. The matatus are turning. Others are coming on. They are coming onto the road.
Bus stages. Yeah.
There was no plan at all.
Yeah.
So, and that is not a problem you can fix overnight. But what we have done is that we have allocated land, and now it's being developed for a bus park. It's more spacious. Yeah. It's going to be outside the town.
Yes.
I mean the center of the town. Yeah. We are also working on a number of bypasses around the main road. The problem is that anybody going to the other side of Kitengela will also stick to the tarmac, the only tarmac.
Yes.
And we have done a number of Maram roads around the town center, and that is going to open up the town. Yeah. And I'm sure once the matatus move out to the new bus park.
Yeah. But before that happens, and when will the bus park be ready, you think, in your plan?
In the next, no.
Yeah.
Within this financial year.
Okay.
Yes.
How about just having marshals, traffic marshals?
We have 60.
We
have 65 people training at the City Inspectorate Center.
Yes.
They will soon be out.
Right.
And they are going to help us a lot. And we also are working closely with the traffic police there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The others are about the many roads you've done. Magadi Road works. When will Bomas, Kiseri and Magadi Road commence? Is that part of county government? Or
that's
national?
not part of, that's Kenha.
I suspected, yeah.
Yeah, Kenha.
Well, water, fresh water in Kajiado, big issue.
Fresh water, we have done a hydrogeological survey, and we have identified some great places for big mega dams, and that is something we will embark on to supply water. But on 7th of August, this next week,
yes,
we are launching the Olosuyan Nolturesh water project. converging at Kajiado, and we have water flowing all the way from Loitoktok. Now it's up and running, and on 7th we launch it. There's going to be water in Kajiado, water in Isinya, and all the way to Kitengela.
Okay. What about the vet farm at Ngong?
Yes. I hope you don't have a parcel of land there.
No,
Some
I don't
people have
have.
been encroaching on it.
So I hear.
Yes.
As we speak now, the Chinese are quarreling. They are getting stuff for building this southern bypass.
Yes.
And a lot of people's property has been destroyed by those.
What do you mean, a lot of people's property?
When they're digging their.
Oh, yes, the blasting.
The blasting.
Yes.
First of all, it's done on that farm.
Yes.
What is the understanding? Is that farm?
Yeah, that farm was part of national government land.
Yes.
And there was an agreement between national government and the Chinese. That is why they have continued to do that.
So it doesn't belong to the county?
It's in Kajiado County.
Yes.
Of course, we are pulling and pushing with the Ministry of Agriculture at national level, because they want to say that is their land. And we are saying that if agriculture is devolved, any land that was used for agriculture must come also. The resources have to follow devolved functions. We recently got a letter from, I think, the PS, Ministry of Agriculture, saying, that parcel of land is ours, and another one in Kitengela, and another one. And we don't agree with that. We know
agriculture is devolved.
Yeah,
function.
It's fully devolved. You cannot devolve agriculture and hold back to the land. You cannot. It's basic, common sense.
Common sense,
But we see some forces sometimes at national level trying to undermine what counties are doing, including such things.
There are moves. There have been moves to subdivide that land.
Yes.
In fact,
we are fighting that.
There is one principal of the school.
Yes.
Who was moved simply because she resisted the grabbing of that land.
Yes.
What guarantee is there that land is not going to go?
I wouldn't give a guarantee, but I would tell them.
They want to build a police station. They want to build
of course, a police station doesn't take a lot of land. I mean, if that is all they wanted, I think we would not be worried. We would not be worried. Yeah, but we are fighting that. We have surveyors there. They have looked at the whole area. We have looked at the original maps. We are going to fight anybody grabbing that land. And I'm in touch with quite a number of people who are giving me information about who is coming. And there are some even government functionaries who are having their fingers there. But we will fight them.
The Ngong Stadium, you said you're doing it for the youth.
Yes.
A Rotary Club of Ngong Hills was involved in that, trying to do a school there, a sports training school.
Yes.
And do a marathon.
Yes.
I don't know whether you know about that.
Yes, I'm aware. And actually, these are some of we have quite some land in Ngong.
Yes.
That is high altitude. And we want people to come there. We want athletes to come there and train.
Yeah.
So that's why we've set aside 40 million shillings this financial year to start that thing. Some people have been trying to grab, and there are some beacons. And I've been talking to youth there and saying nobody should really intrude into this. But we have some more land, even on the vet farm on the higher side. We have some really nice place where we could do a lot of good work with the sports facilities where people can come and train. And that is second to none, actually, because it's high altitude. So, please, let's talk with the Rotary also.
Okay. Yeah. Well, finally, I think one of your campaign pledges was to do a livestock mitigation fund. And that is core to the people of Kajiado, the pastoralists. You have not mentioned that. Perhaps in closing, you can say something about it.
Livestock mitigation fund, did you say?
Yes.
I don't know what you mean by
during
that.
hardships. You see,
yes.
Insurance, as they were. Because I remember even URP had that as a big plan in its campaign.
Yes. First and foremost, we have set aside money in our emergency fund. And so when there's a drought like now, actually Kajiado is hit very badly right now.
Yes.
It's going to get worse, although we are told an El Nino will come around October. It's an 80% chance there's going to be an El Nino in October. But before that happens, we have put in place an emergency fund that is taking care of people who are in distress. We have fixed a number of boreholes right now that have broken down, and we will continue to do that. We'll take water around when people are in distress. So we'll take care of that in collaboration with the national government whose mandate it is actually to take care of the disasters and all these big droughts and all that. About the insurance, the only area where insurance has been piloted is in Marsabit, and it is actually quite complex. You need banks, you need remote sensing capability, you need all that. So even the one that is happening in Marsabit, you have ILRI, you have, I think, Equity Bank, you have UAP, and quite a number of people coming together. That is the way we want to go. It's not something
it's not
to
a
do.
quick solution.
It's not a quick
It
solution.
needs to be thought through.
Yes, it needs to be thought through.
A political solution that dies.
Yes, and the problem, of course, the one downside is how people internalize that and how they see it as being practical. You know, when do you know that this drought is going to be bad?
Yes.
And so that you must have insurance. Now, because this is traditional, people have moved over time, and they always think they will beat the drought.
Yes.
That is one challenge we are having. But we will explore, we will do a pilot on a small time, and then roll out. We don't want to go into something large scale at a go. We will do it in bits.
All right.
But in the meantime, we want to help people to go through the drought. Kiserian Dam, yes. Yeah. A lot of water there. We are going to do reticulation of that water, the piping and all that. Olola Isir Water is working on that. That's the water company. They are not doing a great job. They are trying, but we've held meetings and we don't think they are doing a great job. They need help to reticulate all that water so more people can use it. The pressure is very high from the reservoir up there. When it goes to Rongai and other places, it keeps busting the pipes, and I think the science is not right yet.
Yeah.
But we want to work on that.
Yeah, but security, I think you must finish on us, not on security in Kajiado. All these townships have a lot of challenges on security. People complaining their neighborhoods being attacked, people being killed. Has that subsided, and what arrangements are you working to guarantee them? That is your last thing.
It has. Let me say two things to wind up. One, security has improved. Now, one problem we are having is that Rongai, Kiserian, and Ngong are still under the commander, Nairobi. Yeah. Kitengela has come back. It used to be.
We would like it that way.
It used to be like that, Kitengela.
Yes.
And I know, because Mutegi would say he likes it that way, because he would prefer status quo. He thinks he's safer with status quo.
With Nairobi.
Yes. The one problem we are facing is
Yes.
that we have a county commissioner in Kajiado. Yes. We have a commander of AP and police and DCIO and, you know, intelligence and all that. Yes. You ask them about Ngong, you ask them about Magadi, Rongai, and they say, I have no clue. Now, tell me, in terms of command and in terms of how things should be done, should the county commissioner be calling the county commander in Nairobi and saying, how is Rongai? Now, that is the problem we are facing. And we are talking with the minister, Olelenku. We are discussing amongst ourselves and any other person who is involved in security matters. We will decide to do what is best for the county of Kajiado.
I know this
because
is
that area actually goes all the way to Magadi and to Shombole and all that. Yeah. Some of those places are very rural.
Yeah. But let me think, this is different and is a big issue. Yes. But supposing those townships were brought to be part of bigger Nairobi, as Nairobi has been overflowing, would it be the natural thing to do? Or that you are administering part of Nairobi in Kajiado,
you would have to convince us that Nairobi has adequately taken care of Mukuru and Mathare and everything else. Nairobi has too much on its plate.
Yes.
It can hardly handle what it has. Yeah. It doesn't need anything.
It is because
what is Kajiado must be in Kajiado.
Yes. What is Kajiado must remain in Kajiado.
Yes. There's no question about that. Yeah.
I see. So Nairobians can continue living in Kajiado.
Nairobians and any other person, actually, the whole of Kenya is in Kajiado. If you
see the irony in that statement, Nairobians can continue being in Kajiado.
Because not just Nairobians. Not just Nairobians.
Yes.
Any Kenyan who is living in Kajiado is welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess that is a very motive issue, because it means redrawing boundaries which have had counties have never wanted, like Machako, you know,
they can live there. They can live there, but that doesn't mean that Kajiado is part of Nairobi.
Yeah.
It just means that Kajiado is Kajiado, and we know our boundaries very well, and we don't think we want to export any of our problems to Nairobi.
Okay.
Nairobi can tackle
they managed well under your county government. Thank you so much, Governor.
And you know, there's this issue. Yes. You saw something about the senators and the county development boards. Did you
Yes,
see
yes,
that?
yes, yes, yes. And I think since you are here, you might know the law was appended to yesterday by the president.
Yes.
County development boards now to be chaired by senators.
Yes.
And you'll be
Governors
the
become
secretary
deputy.
or the
No,
vice
vice
chairperson. Yes.
It's a very bad idea. Very bad idea.
But it's the law now.
I don't think
It is the law.
I don't think it should have happened. Actually, I'm very certain the Council of Governors will move to court to challenge that.
To challenge it because
Yes,
it undermines the whole notion
because
of
you know,
devolution.
within a span of less than 2 years,
Yeah.
we are putting all these things together. Yeah, we are increasing. What we have done now by doing that is actually to increase the friction between the senators and the governors and everybody else. Devolution has hardly settled. Yeah. And what Kenya struggled to do for 50 years, we have actually done in some places, in many places in this country, we have done in a span of less than 2 years.
Someone would argue that,
Now,
in fact, there ought not to be friction in the first place.
Yes.
Because a senator is the
Yes.
representative of your county.
Yes.
The governor is the representative of that county.
Yes.
Shouldn't there be harmony?
Oversight. Their work is oversight. When the person doing oversight is also the one saying, build this dam and do that, and then he comes back to say what has been done and what has not been done, you are mixing up everything. You are
Okay,
creating
how about the
confusion.
function of coordination, bringing all the actors within the county together under one body or sitting? Who should do that?
The
Given
governor.
that
The governor
members
should
of
do that.
parliament,
The governor should do that.
The governor should do that.
Yes, and I don't think it's too late really to do these things. It's not late. I don't know why we are so much in a hurry to see things happen very fast. Development does not happen that fast.
I think governors are just defending the territory. They don't
No,
want to be
we
under
are not even
anybody
2 years
because-
old. We are not even 2 years old. You must say kudos. We have done a great job.
Yes.
We have done a
in
good-
some cases.
In most cases. We only have isolated cases.
You're right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think you've been hard on that. Let's see what happens, whether the executive will think otherwise or parliament will. Of course, the executive has already thought because he has appended the signature.
We will continue
Let's see
whispering.
whether-
We will continue whispering and sometimes shouting.
Yes.
That's not a good idea. We hope they will have a change of heart.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's Governor David Ngedianye of Kajiado County, who was discussing the outlying area of Nairobi that falls in Kajiado. Many of us believe it's in Nairobi. You're in Kitengela, you're in Ngong, you're in Kiserian. Know that you are not a Nairobi.
Mention Loitoktok and Namanga and other
Namanga.
places.
Know that you are not a Nairobi. No, Namanga is far away from Nairobi.
No,
For anybody
all that
to
is
have an
Kajiado.
illusion.
All that is Kajiado.
Yeah, that is Kajiado, and he says things are good. Keep living there, visit there. Kajiado is organized and going forward. Thank you, Governor, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Asante.
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 All right.
Asante Mutegi. Normally you ask